Thank you all for coming tonight to this I-229, 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue reconstruction project, public open house number 6. My name is James Unruh, and I'm with HDR Engineering, part of the design team that did this project. And just as a little note, all of these folks here from about 7 different entities were part of the overall project. What you see on the screen will also be on the city's website. So if you don't see something here, you can go to the city's website and you will see the pictures there. Okay, a couple of things I want to touch on. All of these people here, I think we all feel like this has been a privilege to be part of a significant project like this. We actually started the project way back in 2012, where we started the planning process. That's a long time ago, and yet each step along the way has gone according to schedule, and we really have not been behind schedule on anything. So what are we going to do here tonight? Our open house purpose is to show you some things. We're going to show you, first of all, what the project will look like when it's completed. We had that scrolling slideshow that went on before the presentation. We'll bring that up again after the presentation, and that had a number of slides that showed what the project will look like when it's done. I will go through some of those in the presentation as well. We will also show you how the project will be built, in the sense of what will be taking place and when. I'll make it just very brief and very simple, but I think you will find that very interesting. And then what will affect all of you the most: how can you travel in the area during construction? There hasn't been much impact to anyone or effect on anyone from this project yet. In about 3 weeks, there will be an impact on all of you, all of us, as we drive the roads in this area. Here we have our project area, and just a couple of highlights here. 26th Street is going across the screen right to left, and we're looking south on I-229. Here is Cliff Avenue on the right side of the screen, Southeastern Avenue on the left side of the screen, and we are all sitting here tonight now in this Lincoln High School auditorium. This area here, Rotary Park, when these pictures were taken, that was a kind of a wild tree area. What you saw last year was all of those trees being cut down and a parking lot and some buildings going up. We didn't quite get all of the playground features finished last year, but we will get that done early this year. The reason for that new Rotary Park was that the old entrance to Rotary Park, right here, when we raise up 26th Street, that entrance to the existing Rotary Park will be cut off, and there will be no way to get to it. So we have Rotary Park over here, and many of you saw this pedestrian bridge going across the Big Sioux River, right about in that area, and that will connect the new Rotary Park with the old Rotary Park. Some animations. This is the interchange. Looking now towards the north with I-229 to the north, 26th Street going across your screen like this. This is what it looks like today. Way back in 2012, 2013, we considered up to 20 different options for improving this interchange and making it a safe and traffic efficient interchange. And I'm going to show you one of the animations that we did in 2014. Okay, this is an animation of what the interchange will look like when it's completed. And I will stop this partway in and give some key points. All right, so we're looking, this is pretty much toward the northeast. This direction here is 26th Street. Some things I want to point out. Yeager Road now connects to 26th Street. When we are done, Yeager Road will be curved around and will connect to 26th Street over here across from Frederick Drive. The I-229 ramps will connect to 26th Street where Yeager Road is now. If you are traveling south on I-229 and want to get onto 26th Street, you'll come around this loop, and this loop will then connect to 26th Street. If you want to go east on 26th Street, you'll have your own lane all the way over to Southeastern Avenue. So you see 3 lanes on 26th Street going over to Southeastern Avenue. When you want to get onto I-229, you'll get on the ramp here and you'll get directly onto I-229. You will not have to turn again at Yeager Road like you do now. I'm going to let this continue to run here. And this other scenario that you're going to see is essentially the same thing, but just from a slightly different perspective. And the one thing I want to point out here is this intersection. Significantly larger than the existing intersection. And you can see here we've got 2 lanes on 26th Street, 2 through lanes. And then we have dual left turn lanes getting onto the interstate here. So we will dramatically improve the capacity of 26th Street with this project. And just gives you a bit of a different view. Now you're looking towards the southwest, but gives you kind of a good perspective of what this will look like when it's done. Quite a bit different from what it looks like now. Okay, now we're going to go on to the next slide. This is the 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue intersection. We considered up to 6 different options for how to improve this intersection. And the one difference from the animation here, from the 2014 animation, is that there are townhouses here, and those townhouses will remain. The Southeastern Avenue Dental Building and the Headhunter Stylist Salon, those have been removed, as you have all seen. So we're going to start this and just let it run, and that will show you what this will look like when it's finished. A very dramatic difference from what it looks like now. And I'll do just a couple of comments as we go around. Again, these animations really helped people and all of us on the design team just understand what it would look like. Here we're looking on Southeastern Avenue to the south. Here's the railroad tracks, and here's the bridge over the railroad tracks. We'll have dual left turn lanes on Southeastern Avenue and 4 through lanes, 2 lanes in each direction on Southeastern Avenue. Here we're looking west on 26th Street, and not much capacity increase over here. That will stay the same on the east side of Southeastern Avenue. Now we're looking north on Southeastern Avenue. Here's 26th Street. Dual left turn lanes here to get onto 26th Street. That movement backs up every day, as all of you are aware. And notice the nice wide sidewalks along the sides of the streets. Another marked improvement for this area. But unless we had these types of animations, very difficult to comprehend what this would look like when we're done. You saw the red coloring on those walls in the animation. Well, since then we've done some additional work, and what you see here, these gray colored walls, is what will actually be built. More of a concrete color, and we're going to use a wave pattern on these walls to match in with the setting of the park system, with the Big Sioux River, and with the Big Sioux River Trail. And these aesthetic treatments were developed with coordination with the City Fine Arts, City Visual Arts Commission. So we had quite a bit of input on how to make these things look very nice. Here's a slide looking underneath the new bridge. This is looking towards the new Rotary Park. Here is the pedestrian bridge going across the Big Sioux River. On the bridge pier, there will actually be numbers, red numbers, that will tell canoers and kayakers that if the river level gets up to one of those, you probably want to get out of your canoe or kayak and walk around that bridge. Although I'm sure there will be many people that try to scoot underneath the new pedestrian bridge. Here we are looking underneath the new bridge towards the northeast, and here is that big retaining wall along Southeastern Avenue that you saw. Here's the Big Sioux River. And again, we went with a concrete color and a wave pattern on, for example, the edges of the bridges and on these bridge piers. We think that will also be very pleasing to look at. And again, this was developed in coordination with the City Visual Arts Commission. Now, that showed you what it's going to look like when we're done. Let's touch just a bit on how it will be built. We have a construction sequencing map here. You actually have that in one of your handouts, so you can look at that when you leave tonight. But this is phase 1A, and it will actually extend from April to July 2019. So this is coming up very soon. And the July timeframe is somewhat approximate, but in that time frame. What you see in pink here, that's what's under construction during this time period. And these boxes indicate what the lanes will be like at each of these main intersections. Here is the intersection with essentially Yeager Road now. Here's the northbound ramps, and here's Southeastern Avenue. And these boxes are to indicate what the lane configuration will be. Just want to point out some things. Again, I apologize for the small screen, somewhat hard to read, but we will keep 2 lanes of traffic open on 26th Street throughout the construction. Southeastern Avenue north of 26th Street up here will remain open during this phase 1A. The west ramps that connect now to Yeager Road will also remain open. And we will be building, as you see here, the south side of 26th Street, essentially widening out to the south side. We will also be building this northbound on and off ramp, but we will maintain 2 lanes of traffic on that. And that's really for the people coming off of I-229. As you know, this movement backs up onto the ramp, onto I-229 nearly every day. So we're actually going to make 2 right turn lanes to go east on 26th Street. And we will also be building a new access from the ramp to the Cliff Avenue greenhouse site. And we will maintain the existing access over here to the Cliff Avenue greenhouse site during this phase 1A. What happens on Southeastern Avenue to the south is that we will be closing it. It will be closed to Klondike Trail right over here. And then all the way down to 49th Street, the city will be doing a project that involves some sanitary sewer work and overlaying the existing pavement. And 2 lanes will remain open, and 2 lanes will be closed on Southeastern Avenue all the way down to 49th Street. It was an opportune time to do these projects together while traffic is impacted all just in one year. Notice here there's no left turns going onto this ramp, so that will be a traffic impact. And also, I said that there's 2 right turn lanes coming off of the ramp, and they will merge very quickly to 1 lane going east. We recognize that will be a constraint for traffic and probably a site of congestion. Let's go to 1B. Similar, the only thing different here is that what's in gray is what has been completed now. Again, you have this in your handout, and this will extend from approximately the July timeframe to the end of the 2019 construction season, probably November 30th, depending on weather. And again, we will keep 2 lanes of traffic open on 26th Street, 1 lane in each direction. Southeastern Avenue north of 26th Street will remain open to traffic. Now the west ramps will be closed off, and Yeager Road will also be closed off for construction. And we will continue to build the south half of 26th Street. But the east ramps will be completed, and we'll also have the new entrance to Cliff Avenue Greenhouse completed by that time. Then we will close the YMCA and the other Cliff Avenue Greenhouse entrance, and YMCA will shut down their operations after September 15th, so all access to the YMCA day camp will end after September 15th. And again, Southeastern Avenue will be closed down to Klondike Trail, and then just 2 lanes of traffic all the way down to 49th Street. And again, no left turns, even though this ramp will be open. The congestion just is not going to allow us to allow left turns from 26th Street westbound onto the ramp. And again, those 2 right turn lanes will merge relatively quickly to 1 lane. Then in year 2, so we call this phase 2, this will be from the April to November of 2020 timeframe, 2nd year of construction. Now all of the lanes, the new lanes on 26th Street will be open, and we will keep 26th Street open to 2 lanes of traffic, 1 lane in each direction. This will now be on the new lanes and on the new bridge over the Big Sioux River and over the railroad tracks. And all of the ramps will be open. So this will be a dramatic improvement in traffic conditions from what it was in year one. We'll be building what you see in pink here, the north half of 26th Street. And now Southeastern Avenue will be open south of 26th Street, but Southeastern Avenue north of 26th Street will be closed to the River Ridge Oral Surgery driveway, right about there. And then north of that, Southeastern Avenue will be closed at least to 2 lanes. We'll only be maintaining 1 lane of traffic in each direction all the way to 18th Street. And during that time, the city will be widening Southeastern Avenue so that when we're done, there will be 4 lanes all the way to 18th Street, all the way from 26th Street to 18th Street. So again, a dramatic increase in capacity on Southeastern Avenue when we are done. Some pain to get there, however. Again, we will not allow left turns at this ramp. And again, the 2 right turn lanes will merge down relatively quickly. So again, that's going to be a traffic constraint that all of us will have to be aware of. What happens with the bike trail and pedestrians? Here you see a picture looking underneath the existing 26th Street bridge along the bike trail, looking south along the bike trail. What we are going to be doing is installing a concrete tunnel underneath the existing bridge, and it will extend out quite a ways, actually a 200-foot long tunnel, and it will go through much of the construction zone, much of it. And we will have lights inside of that tunnel, so you'll be able to go through that tunnel and still be able to use the bike path on each side of it. There will, at some times, be short-term closures of the bike trail for critical construction work. And just remember that the bike trail will really be in a construction zone, so for users of the bike trail, walkers, bikers, it will still require quite a bit of caution. We'll have lots of barriers, lots of signs, but it will still require caution by everyone that uses the bike trail. Traffic. This is why we're all here tonight, I think, is to see what happens with traffic. And here you see a picture of 26th Street like you see it pretty much every day. Southeastern Avenue back here, 26th Street right here. Today, there's somewhere between 25 to 28,000 vehicles per day on 26th Street, depending on where you're at, but within our project limits, 25 to 28,000 vehicles per day. On Southeastern Avenue, there's between 8,000 and 12,000 vehicles per day that travel on Southeastern Avenue every day. We have about 3 to 4 trains per day that cross 26th Street. And invariably, it seems like one of those crosses right during the peak traffic periods. I think we're all well aware of that, and we've all sat in that traffic backup that you see on the slide here. That's what we're dealing with. Okay, hopefully you can see this slide. What happens then during construction? Well, 26th Street goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes during construction. Southeastern Avenue at some point will be closed either north or south of 26th Street. And the railroad tracks will also be making some changes. There will be just 2 lanes crossing the railroad tracks, and there will be arms that drop down from new railroad signals that will be installed. So pretty significant reduction in the amount of traffic that can get through this area. So what do we do? How do we get through this area? What are some alternate traffic routes that all of us can use to get through this area? But my daughter and her husband live right in this area here. This is at the corner of 49th and Southeastern. And she works at Ide Bailey in downtown Sioux Falls. She really enjoys her commute on Southeastern Avenue going down to Ide Bailey. It's just a nice drive. It's along the river. It's quick. It's 4 lanes. And she said, "Dad, what am I going to do when you close down Southeastern Avenue?" Okay, we're going to show you an example of how you might be able to, how I told her how she might be able to navigate through this area. I said, first of all, what you want to do, and I'll point if you can't see the arrow there, but I suggest getting onto Southeastern Avenue. It'll still be 2 lanes. Take a right turn out of off of your street, the Marston Street. and then take a right turn on 41st Street. There will be a temporary signal installed at Bonson and 41st Street to get more cars through there. And I said what you want to do then is go over to Sycamore and take a left turn at Sycamore and then stay on Sycamore, go right through the 26th Street intersection, and then turn left at 10th Street and then take 10th Street to downtown. Okay, we are all well aware that 10th Street has a lot of traffic on it already, and so we're saying, okay, we're going to put more traffic on it. So I said what you might want to also consider is if 10th Street, if you're having trouble getting through there, you could also turn left on 26th Street here from Sycamore and go over to Southeastern Avenue. Keep in mind, in the first year, Southeastern Avenue will be open north of 26th Street, and I suggested then you'd be back on your old route to get to downtown. For each person that drives this area, there's going to be some uniqueness in where you're coming from and where you are going to. So this is just an illustration of how one person could navigate it. Now, the city is going to be doing some very specific things, and if you can't see these, I will just tell you what they are. First of all, the city will be adjusting the signal timings on these alternate routes, and these alternate routes are the ones that are in blue here. Basically 10th Street on the north side, 57th Street on the south side, Sycamore on the east side, Cliff Avenue on the west side, and I-229 will also remain open. So if you're trying to use the 26th Street interchange and there's ramps that are closed, you can use the 10th Street or Cliff Avenue interchanges instead. But the city will be adjusting the signal timings before the project and during the project on all of these alternate routes to adjust to what the traffic is really looking like out there. The city will also keep these alternate routes construction-free while we will have all this additional 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue traffic on these alternate routes. And then the city will also, you'll see cameras up on some of the poles, and they will actually watch what's happening at each of these intersections, especially in the project area right here where we're working. And they will actually monitor that in real time at City Hall, and then they can actually adjust the signal timings in real time to maybe reduce the delays that people are experiencing. Okay, what can commuters do? And if you can't see that, I'll just go through it here. These are the things that all of us as commuters can do. First of all, like I told my daughter, you will probably have to try various routes. One route might be really blocked up and you might want to try a different route the next day. And it might change through the course of the construction season, so you're going to have to just try different routes. You might want to try various time frames for getting to and from work. That is not an option for everyone, but if that is something that's possible, you might want to consider going on times where the traffic isn't quite as busy. Please keep the speeds down during these times when the roads are, all of these alternate routes are going to have extra traffic on them. How about commuting by bike? As I said, the bike trail will remain open, so that's certainly a possibility, and you won't be fighting vehicle traffic. So that's a possibility as well, certainly when the weather is nice. And finally, we do ask that people be patient. I'm as aware of it as anyone that when you're sitting at a traffic light, 2 minutes seems like the end of the world. There was one signal I thought every time I went through it, it took forever to get through it. And then I timed it one time and it was like a minute and a half. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a very short amount of time, but when you're sitting there, it seems like forever. There will be times when at some of these signalized intersections, it might take 2 cycles, even 3 cycles to get through, and we will just ask for patience. When we're done, this will be a wonderful project, and traffic will move very smoothly through this area and much more safely. But during this 2-year construction period, we'll be challenged. I think all of us are aware of that. And if you have specific ideas or questions about how to get around the area, we actually have 2 of these display boards set up in the lobby. And then we have 2 gentlemen back there that can direct you. If you give them the place that you're starting from and going to, they can make suggestions for specific alternate routes. There is a significant investment with this project. $37 million is what the construction cost will be for this project. The city and the South Dakota Department of Transportation are making a very significant investment, an investment that really benefits us and our descendants probably for 1 or 2 generations. Something like this is expected to last 75 to 100 years. So it is something that we want to make it look nice, we want to make it very functional, and we want to make it enjoyable for everyone today and in the 20 to 50 to 75 years, even to 100 years in the future.